You are listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of ofLore. I'm Ben.
I'm Eric.
So this is, as you saw, is again, the Cult of Lore boys are out on a limb reviewing something that we have no business reviewing. A video game. Another one. Space Marine 2. Let's just cut straight into it. This game's bad.
Dun, dun.
Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, maybe.
No. Listen, guys. Nobody was more excited for this game than me.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I bought the most expensive pack, not just because I was excited, but also because obviously it feeds into content here. So it was like a quarter of a business decision, and the rest of it was all pleasure, and it bit me right in the ass. I've seen a lot of video game creators like really fluff this game. I'm sorry, fellas, this game is not good. It's pretty.
Yeah, it looks like 40K should look.
It looks like 40K should look. It sounds like how 40K should sound, but it's a mud puddle that's pretending to be an ocean. It's a real shallow game. I will be referring to Helldivers 2 a couple of times, not because like they are not anybody that thought Space Marine 2 was going to take the place of Helldivers was obviously very mistaken. These games couldn't be further apart, except for they share one aspect and they handle it in very different ways. And the result, in my opinion, is what makes or breaks the difference between the two games. And that is they both suffer from ridiculously repetitive game loop. Both of them. They both suffer from you're doing the same shit over and over and over. There's no variation. There's maybe 4 variations on things that you do, and it's just the map is different, and maybe the way the mission is set up might be a little different. But by all accounts, everything you do is exactly the same.
Yeah.
So why do and just for brackets, we're talking about Helldivers before the devs decided to go full retard and just nerf everything into the ground and make it not fun at all. I'm talking before the nerfs went ridiculous. Like obviously there's a big war happening there. They've announced a patch later in September that's supposed to be giant, but we've seen them blow themselves before. We'll see how that goes. Space Marine 2 is QuickTime Simulator, the game.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many hours I've had into it. I will grant you, I am not a gamer. I'm an old gamer who is trying to get into some now because our movies suck. If our movies were back up to par, I probably wouldn't be playing video games anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for something for fun, and both of these seem determined to hate me. So, like, I'm not a professional. I'm not, like, I won't sit down and play a game for, like, I saw one guy that played it, I think, for, like, 200 hours.
Wow.
Or some stupid shit.
Wow.
I don't even know how you do that, except for, like, the 5 days that it's out, you just sit and play it, like, nonstop.
You'd have to.
And also, I think he, probably because he's a gaming channel, he might have gotten, like, an early access, like,
oh, I see.
weeks
Yeah,
ago.
That's possible. Yeah.
But I can't imagine sitting and playing that many hours in this game in even like 2 weeks.
Right.
Okay. Let's start at the tippy top.
Yeah.
My biggest complaint, and we'll go down to like the bare minimum shit. But first, we'll cover the stuff that I like, just so it's not a complete downer.
Oh, there we go. We'll be positive.
The game is pretty. It is pretty. There's no doubt about that. It looks good, sounds good. The textures are great.
Yeah.
All
the visual stuff seems to be very lore accurate.
Yeah.
You know.
Now on to the stuff that I don't like.
It was just a short list, huh?
It was a short list because there's not much to this game.
Yeah.
There isn't. You don't feel like a Space Marine at all. If you read, like, if you're a lore person, if you've read a lot of the books and you're very familiar with how Space Marines fight, the way they move, the way they're supposed to move, the things that they're capable of, you should be playing this game going, what the hell?
Yeah.
Because you are so weak and slow compared to what a Space Marine should be.
They're very clunky, like steps, walking and running around.
Yeah, it's almost like they can, like, it's a struggle for them to lift their power armor or to swing their weapons.
Right. Which I know you've emphasized to me a lot in the past, where it's like, no, Space Marines, they move more like a cat. They
Yeah.
are fast and fluid.
Like, this is not only a misstep, this is like one of the big things about Space Marines is they're the only people that can properly wear power armor because they have the plugs all throughout their body that allows them to maneuver. Everybody else who wears power armor, you get this weird kind of clunky, lumbering kind of almost mechanical movements because they have to move by muscle and by stimulating the different parts just with their own movement.
Right.
Space Marines, once they put on the power armor, it literally says, I don't know how many times in books, that it's like they're putting on a second layer of skin.
Yeah.
And you swing a regular chainsword, not an eviscerator, not like a double-bladed or a double-handed chainsword. You swing a regular chainsword like that thing weighs almost your maximum lift. It is so slow and bulky. I haven't even gotten to the power hammer. I can't imagine what swinging that fucking thing is like.
Oh, yeah.
Takes 10 minutes. You got to like prep it in the start menu before you go. And then when you land the Thunderhawk, he gets into the swing. And then by the time you board to leave, he's like putting it down. Your health is pathetically low in this. One hit. So you get your health and then you get armor pips, which are the shield around you. One hit from a Termagant, which is like the weakest enemy, will drop 1 pip of your armor and you only get 2.
Yeah.
That's
starting out.
So, yeah. So two Termagants can just absolutely wreck you if you don't get to them quickly.
Yeah.
That's stupid. That's absolutely absurd. You fight a Lictor. I had a Melta-gun, which anybody who knows what that is, and a plasma pistol, which both of these weapons should be able to burn through a Lictor once hit. Like, really fucking fast. And because this game decided the Lictor for some reason was a boss battle, it took forever to burn through this thing.
Yeah.
I was like, this is ridiculous. I was sitting here complaining the whole time, like, this is 10 Lictors I fought right now.
As opposed to just the one.
Yeah.
And
and you get into a game loop where all you do is dodge.
Yep.
Just
here comes the dodge simulator again.
Yeah, it's just Limp Bizkit's rolling the whole time. Keep rolling. Oh, look, they're attacking it. Rolling. Oh, they're attacking it. Rolling. Because you can't stand there and take it.
Yeah. And as someone I've only watched him play this game, the plan was for me to play some through it as well, but no, thank you at this time.
Eric's like, I don't want to.
No, thank you. But like just watching it, it's like you hear that there's like a sound cue for the dodge that, it tells you when you're supposed to dodge just through like a little cue each time. It's just walking you through different button pushes, but it just could have been, you just hear that chime all the time.
Eric thought it was part of the soundtrack.
I did. It was so frequent. I just thought it was a weird part of it.
I finally said, like, I'm so sick of hearing the dodge noise. And he goes, oh, I thought that was part of the music. I was like, no!
That's how much it was happening. It was weird.
Yeah, the game wants you to play at very low health, and then it wants you to fight all of your enemies in a very particular pattern. It wants you to go light attack, heavy attack. And then once you do that, you enter into what's called a gun strike, which is this is just a quick time event where it shows a little crosshair above the enemy. And then even if your gun has no bullets, he'll pull out his handgun and shoot them in the face. How does he do that? Shut up. It looks cool. That helps you regain a very, 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 very tiny portion of your health. And so what the game wants you to do is just keep doing this over and over and over again to regain health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or it wants you to do a heavy attack on another enemy so that you can do an execution, which is another just quick-timey, quick-timey, look how cool, but you don't actually do anything. You just sit there and watch them do this really cool thing to gain health. And like, yeah, okay, the kills are brutal and all that, but literally that's all this game is. Walk to an area, press a button, your enemies are going to swarm you. Light attack, heavy attack, gun strike, execution, rinse and repeat the entire time.
Yeah.
And no, I can't make that joke. You can make that joke. I can't make that joke. Bailey made a really banger of a joke about this game. about the R1, just the finger trigger all over and over and over again. I can't make that joke. She can make that joke. I'll let her make that joke some other time.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, and that's it. That's all you do. It wants you to rely on these gun strike things because, as I said, like you can do it with no ammo.
Right.
So you run out of ammo real fast.
Yeah. And a lot of the missions you start out with
none of them. All of the missions. There's no mission where you start off with full equipment,
which is very strange. A space marine going into a battle or mission,
half equipped.
Yeah, half equipped. Why not?
Yeah. And they don't allow you to carry much ammunition, but what they give you is an ammo crate that you can't move that gives you that can refill you unlimited times. So they artificially tether you to a spot that you just have to keep running back to refill your ammunition, all while doing this very formulaic combat.
Yeah.
Exploration on the maps is 0.
Yeah, overall, it's very railroady.
Yeah, it's an extremely railroady game.
Yeah.
The best game that I could think of that me and the guys that I were playing it and that were watching it, because I played it with a friend of mine as well, just because he plays more games than I do, just to give his opinion. And his opinion is just as harsh as mine.
Yeah.
We keep comparing it to God of War without any scale. Because I'm sorry, guys. Like, I know that you're like, scale, what are you talking about? There's thousands of enemies. Yeah. It all just turns into a big pile of goop. Yeah. Like, they're all little enemies. They're all termagants and, like, I don't know. First of all, this should have been a game about the Blood Angels. Fuck the Ultramarines. Like, they don't have a thing against High Fleet Leviathans. The High Fleet Leviathans are the Blood Angels, but of course, we've got to get the Ultramarines. So that's one thing. But also, like, how often you run into these bigger forms of Tyranids, which they use all the time, is like never. It's all warriors and Hormigons and Tormagons, and that's it. So there's no scale here, guys. Like, that's what I'm saying. This game's the cake from Mario. It's a lie. The scale of this game is a lie. The brutality of this game is a lie. The complexity of the combat, like, it's all so shallow. Now, the comparison with Helldivers. Helldivers has the exact same problem where you go in, you do these missions that require you to do the exact same steps, very repetitive gameplay, but you get to choose the engagement. Like, and again, remember, this is pre-nerf that I'm talking about. You had a plethora of weapons that could deal a variety of different damages with a variety of different armors that allowed you to play and fight the way you felt was best suited to your play style so that you could accomplish the mission. Which
is something you could easily do with a Space Marine.
This is something you could have done with this game.
Right. Yeah.
But
very easily could have been done that.
But you're so tethered down to the ammo and the use of quick time events to subvert the fact that you're out of ammo and to regain health just locks you into this very particular style of combat that is just boring as hell.
Yeah.
Anytime that I felt like I was finally starting to get to feel Space Marine, where I was just taking on these hordes of enemies, the game would glitch and it would not read the parries or the dodges at all. And I would get hit twice, which would cost me 3/4 of my health plus my shield. So there's your 2 hits that drop most of your health. Okay, I no longer feel like a Space Marine. There's your fantasy aborted. And that would literally happen anytime it was starting to feel good. You would just get dropped down to this low health, and then it would just be this scramble to these stupid quick time events. I found myself running across the map, praying that I could get to an enemy in time who was staggered into their execution mode so that I could execute them because I needed that armor because I had no health. I should have just shot them from a distance and moved on.
Right.
But because of the way the game's set up, I had to pull this stupid maneuver of praying to God that A, they wouldn't either get out of the stagger mode or that my AI teammates wouldn't execute them early so that I could get that resource.
Yeah.
And it's railroady. We've summed it up. It's an incredibly railroady game.
It's railroady, and it just doesn't look like a Space Marine fighting.
No, it
doesn't feel that way. No. Like, yeah, again, in Hell, to bring up Helldivers again, like a lot of those smaller enemies, you're just popping like balloons. And I often think like that's much more Space Marine feeling to watch, at least, than anything I've seen you do out of Space Marines 2 so far.
I'll give another example of how this game appears to be deep, but it's actually really shallow. Yeah. Your bolter rifles. You have your weapon selection in this game is really wide. You get a bunch of different bolters. There was no, this is, again, another lie. They don't really handle all that differently. The scope is what makes or breaks them. What you could have done to make it, so it would have, but I think the reason why they didn't do this is it would have made it look smaller than it was. You could have done a attachment system and just done one bolter rifle that would have done, and then done different attachments to make it a different type of bolter rifle.
Give it different advantages.
Yep. And it would have accomplished the same thing, but you wouldn't have looked like you had as many weapons as it looks like you do.
Right.
And it's like, but in reality, they're not that different.
Yeah.
Now, this is all as of right now. I will 100% acknowledge that they have said that they're doing patches and that they're working on some things and that whatever.
Right.
I don't care at this point, guys. I really don't.
Well, the problem seems to be with the gameplay itself, like the decisions that they made for how playing a Space Marine in this game is going to go.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they'll change it that fundamentally.
They can't. There's no way they're going to fix it that much to where the quick time events are lessened so much.
Right. And apparently there's a lot of people that don't care or enjoy it even. I don't know.
I mean, if you do, you do. But I mean, you can't. Don't tell me it's not boring, because it is. I haven't played that much, and I have to force myself to play because I'm like, okay, fire, parry. Oh, didn't read my parry. Okay, fire. Oh, yeah, quick time event. Okay, I got a little health. Fire, parry, quick time event. Fire, parry, quick time. Oh, nope, that was a dodge, quick time event. And just over and over again.
Yeah.
The female custodians is in it. I saw that. She looks like Ron Perlman. So, like, thanks. Thanks, Games Workshop, for continuing on to double down on this bullshit that Amazon that you required for Amazon, and now Amazon no longer is. You're probably never going to get a series out of them because fuck you, I was right. Like, I'm just really I'm let down in this game, guys. I'm sorry, but I am. This game struggles to hold my attention for very long just because the gameplay is repetitive. Just like this review. Dude, listening to this review, you know how you feel right now where you're like, you've said that? Yes.
That's the feeling.
Yeah. You are now playing Space Marine 2. I saved you $109. We should set up a Patreon for you to donate. No, I'm sure, listen. Everybody on YouTube is just glazing the shit out of this game. I'm sure that my opinion is going to be very unpopular and people are going to have no problem telling me that it's a skill issue. And maybe it is. I just don't think that you should rely on quick time events when you're out of ammo for a Space Marine. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't think that 2 Tormagants should be able to work through your shields in one shot. I don't think that a Lictor should take more damage than you do.
Yeah. And when it comes to the quick time events thing, I almost, at one point, I just said, if they wanted to make a movie, just do that. You spend a lot of time just watching
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll find the storyline, a lot of it is walk to an area, press a button, defend against the horde, clip scene. Walk to an area. Oh, look in the very background. Isn't all that stuff happening in the background interesting? So you'll see hundreds of background images of thousands of Tyranids fighting hundreds of guardsmen, bombs going off, fire, tanks shooting, just chaos everywhere. And you'll be watching it from afar going, wow, that looks fun. I wish I could be part of that. And you'll get nowhere near that shit.
Yeah.
You'll be watching it from some tower and you'll be like, hey, let's go over there and press this button. Do you think enemies are going to show up after we press the button? Mm-hmm. Oh, look, there's an ammo crate. Good. We're going to be fighting here the whole time. Mm-hmm. Do you think we're going to see any interesting enemies? No. Hormigons, and warriors. Am I going to use my gun? Probably not. I'm just going to switch over to the chainsword because why even bother?
Yeah.
Is there any health anywhere? No, not to be found.
No, you have to QuickTime event.
You have to QuickTime event for your health. The stems and the ammo you do pick up, it even says in the game, they slightly give you ammo or it slightly recovers your health. You're like, gee, golly whiz, thanks.
Now, I wonder how this QuickTime stuff, like, you know, hit the right button at the ding, plays out in the player versus player stuff.
I don't know, and guys, I haven't been interested enough to care. I don't want to play the PvP version of this.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's fun. I mean, somebody's going to say, maybe it is.
Yeah.
I just don't care enough to find out. The customization is cool. Okay, even then I got to shit on it a little bit. So the color scheme in that, they named it after the Games Workshop company that makes the paints.
Oh.
So, like, you'll have, like, I think it's Abaddon Black or Trader Green. And I think it's Trader Red, but, right?
Yeah, okay.
Because they wanted them to have clever names. But in this game, because they're named that way, you have to spend money in that Legion's tier tree to unlock that color, even if that color belongs to a loyalist chapter. So, like, the Blood Angels colors are red and gold, but the gold is in the Night Lord's color palette.
What? Okay.
So, if you want to do a proper Blood Angel, you have to invest money in the Blood Angels armor kit and the Night Lord's armor kit, because for some reason, because they wanted the names of the paints to reflect the names of the paints in the game, and they took it literal.
And then built a skill tree around it.
Or an armor system.
Armor, yeah.
That doesn't,
tree.
It's not like but you just have to spend money, not like...
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
And then on top of that, you can't customize, like, if you put trader colors and trader symbols and stuff, you can't decorate your armor as a trader. It just looks like a loyalist marine with loyalist purity seals and stuff, just with trader design, trader emblems, and trader colors.
Huh.
So we're going to get some people in here that are just video game people and they're not lore people. Uh-huh. But I am not sorry. Fuck it. I'll just...
Okay.
When you do something that is this, like, lore intensive, when you enter into a realm that is this lore intensive, like 40K or something, the fact that you can put trader stuff on a loyalist set of armor without putting trader stuff on the armor is absolutely stupid.
Yeah.
You know people are going to want this right out of the gate.
Yeah.
You have trader marine models in your game. So don't tell me you don't have the designs. You have the designs. We saw them.
Yeah.
Why is that not in the multiplayer? It's like, that's something we're going to add later. Why is that added later? First of all, the PvP should be traders versus loyalists just from the get-go.
Yeah. That'd be sweet. Yeah.
Or orcs or Tyranids or whatever. But it shouldn't be loyalists versus loyalists, unless you're literally going to set it up like you're in the gladiatory pits, which is going to make the maps boring as hell. And yeah, that's the lore guy in me that's getting irritated at the game. But you know what? You chose to do it. You could have just made a trader DLC pack later that had all of that stuff in one DLC.
Oh, yeah.
You could have done that. Instead, you said they did a half in and a half out, and for me, I don't like it. Some people might like it because they're like, well, at least I can rep a Traitor Legion until they. Me personally, I don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't like it. Trying to think if there's anything else that I can really talk about with this game.
Sounds about.
So, besides the story mode, you have missions, but I think there are only 6 missions that you can go on right now, and you're just to recycle them at different difficulties.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, guys, this is a pass for me. I mean, I already own the damn thing, so I can't. I could ask for a refund, but let's be real, not doing all that. And maybe they'll fix some of the stuff that I absolutely hate, and it'll be better later. And I wish that I could say that I enjoyed it more, but I didn't. It was a slog to get through as much as I got through. I had to force myself to play it like 15, 20 minutes at a time.
Yeah, and I would say, you really did give it a really good shot. You just kept going back to it. It's like, okay, all right, maybe it's just that I'm not getting the hang of it. You did go back.
Yeah, I've had it since Thursday, guys.
Again. Yeah, over the last several
And I was going to drop the review on Friday.
Yeah.
And I kept pushing it back to give myself more game time.
Because it was hard to get yourself
to just sit down and play it.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't want to.
More than, in any, long periods of time were wearing on you. I could tell.
So that's my thoughts on Space Marine 2, guys. I wish I liked it. I really do. I'm not a hater. I promise you I'm not.
No, you've been looking forward to this a very long time.
Yeah. It's just boring.
Yeah.
I don't care how difficult it is. That difficulty isn't fun. The game loop is boring.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to me. The thing that they want you to do the most is just not appealing. You don't feel I don't feel like I'm playing a Space Marine. And that's the one thing that I wanted from this game.
Yeah, that's the most egregious thing that they failed at.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Well, everything else could have probably been lived with if you could at least feel like a Space Marine when you were on the battlefield.
The facial animations are garbage, by the way. Just to throw that out there.
Which wouldn't have even mattered.
It wouldn't have.
If you have had any fun with the game.
No, but like, that sweater or picture you see on the internet where it shows like the 6 different pictures of Vader and it says Vader happy, Vader sad, Vader mad. You could do that with Titus. Titus's facial expressions are 0. There's one time where he's like going through some computer files and he's finding out the Mechanicus are fucking around with something that they shouldn't because, of course. And it's something that he has like familiarity with because it's from Space Marine 2. I'm not going to get into the spoilers of it because some people might actually care. And he's like snarling and getting angry as he's reading these files, and he's getting angrier and angrier as he's realizing, what the Mechanicus are doing. His facial expressions do not change at all he has the same facial expressions as when he's sitting on a Thunderhawk waiting for the mission to load. It's just that his lips move and he starts making like the growling and grunting noises, and it just looks so stupid. It looks so bad.
Like a rubber mask.
Yeah, it looks like a rubber mask.
Lips move a little.
The rest of the game looks great, but those facial expressions are garbage.
Yeah. But yeah, it does look great. It looks like Warhammer should look.
It's pretty as fuck. Play the trailers on your TV. You'll like it.
So, anything else, Ben?
No, feel free to flame me and listen, guys, try to be a little flame me. It's fine. I understand. I get that people like it. I was getting ready to say I get why people like it. I don't. It's mind-numbing.
But you understand that there are people that do.
I understand that there are guys, I would ask you to consider, is it possible that you like this game so much because we don't have any other options as far as like a 40K console Space Marine style game goes? If not, then fine. It's just not a game that I enjoy. Right. But while you're sitting there talking about how great this game is, just for me, if you're one of our listeners, just give it a once over, a real think, and think about hey, if I had another game for 40K that was okay, fine, just like Helldiver style, but you were a Space Marine instead, that kind of open world travel, would you ever pick this game up again?
It's a good question.
I mean, outside of the PvP, just because that game doesn't offer a PvP style.
Right. Yeah.
My guess is probably going to be no. And so I don't want to sit there and say this game is great because 40K deserves a better game. Space Marine deserves a better game. 40K deserves a better game. The gamers deserve better.
Yeah.
And I think there's no reason why we can't have better games than this. This would have been suitable back in like Halo days, like Halo 1, Halo 2. We should be past this shit now.
Yeah.
Especially for the price tag they're asking for, guys. This is a fucking expensive game.
Yeah.
That really pissed me off when you realize the amount of content you get for what you're paying. Like, whew. And yeah. Before anybody jumps in the comment section and says like games with early access are garbage, they are. It was, and yes, by paying into it, I'm helping proceed. But you know what? I had a 20-year-long rule that I don't pre-order games for ever since Aliens Colonial Marines came out for Xbox. I think it was X360, maybe. I think it was 360.
Wow.
Ever since that game came out, I was like, I will never pre-order another game, and get duped.
Yeah.
I broke my 20-year rule for this game and got duped. So don't jump in there telling me that early access is the devil, because I paid my price for it. Yeah. I'm not happy with the game.
Yeah.
It's just I'm holding on to it to see what they do with it so that if something drastically changes, I can do a better review of it and drop it later down the line and amend this one.
Yeah.
Other than that, I really would be looking for a refund. That's it. That's my review of Space Marine 2.
All right.
Let me know how mistaken I am in the comments. Should be fun. Be nice. You won't get. Listen, guys. As long as you're not like calling names and shit, nobody's getting blocked. Nobody's comments are getting taken down.
Right. Yeah.
When I say be nice, I'm just saying for my own ass, not for any sort of like consequential. I don't do that.
No,
I'm not into that. And if I catch anybody doing that to our comment section, there will be some serious hell to pay.
Yeah.
If we had a guy whose name was Newman, we called him Newman.
Yeah.
He would let us know in minute detail everything we get wrong per episode.
Yep.
And that's fine.
Oh yeah. No, we appreciated his comments. And the
I hope he's alive and well out there somewhere.
It's been a while.
It has. We're not trying to invoke the Newman.
No.
But I hope that he's having a nice life.
But welcome if you come back. You know.
Hello, Newman.
Newman.
You know who you are, I'm sure. If you go back and look at our first three... Yeah. If you go back and look at our first 3 episodes, I'm sure his comments are there. He's not wrong.
No,
okay?
no. He's never been. No. That's not.
There's no way
No.
you're going to post 6 paragraphs worth of reply and be wrong.
Right. Yeah. No. The dude knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like,
for sure.
You ever been approached for a job interview and you didn't know you were owning a job? It was like that. But we're going to go ahead and wrap up. You guys have already probably checked out because you've heard what you wanted to know if you've clicked on this video.
Right.
I do not recommend. I wouldn't spend the money on it. I'm probably mistaken, and that's fine.
Yeah. And we'll see what happens with the game in the future.
Later down the line.
Yeah. And you may hear back from us on it.
If they change stuff, because I'm not going to abandon the game.
Right.
I'm going to be playing it periodically just to see how it goes.
Yeah.
And the minute I'm like, oh, okay. Like if I've figured something out that I haven't figured out, or if they edit some gameplay loop and it becomes more, the minute that I feel like I have changed my opinion on this game, I will record and drop a video that very night.
Yeah. Yep.
So
there we go.
That's it.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for listening to this review. Obviously, we don't do a whole lot of video game reviews or anything, but we do cover Warhammer 40K lore, 30K as well, Horus Heresy, and all that good stuff. So if you'd like to hear
30K is vastly superior to 40K. Fight me.
I kind of think so too. Oh no. Well, okay. I didn't realize that was so controversial.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
fine.
People hate that.
We cover the lore. You can hear all about it. We love talking about the lore, and we know a little bit more about what we're talking about. That because we're clearly not like gamers here at all.
No,
Like,
God, no.
yeah,
No. I'm not talking about frame rates or any of this crazy shit that I see other people getting into, or like progression boxes and all this crazy shit. I don't know about all that stuff, guys. Really,
Right.
it would take me forever to break that shit down.
Yeah. But again, thank you guys so much for listening. Check out Cult Talk Net for more great cult talky netty content. And if you want to listen to some 40K lore, go ahead and subscribe or like or comment. Definitely let us know what you think about Ben's comments on this game, which I agree with. I do, just as someone who's watched. So
Yeah.
My desire to play it went just right out the window. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And Eric is a person that really gets engaged watching video games. He gets real into it.
It's like a movie.
Yeah, and he was just watching his phone.
Yeah, I couldn't get. I got so bored. Like I can watch like Helldivers all day, but like I did get bored watching it. Like that should be noted. And I'm weird. I can watch video games like they're movies, guys. It's entertaining to me. But anyway, all right. We won't take any more of your time for today. Thank you again. All right.
So until next time, I'm Ben.
I'm Eric.
And we'll see you on the next episode of Cult of Lore.